Welcome to Other People's Shoes. This season, we're exploring what it means to be unmade. Life can sometimes feel like an unmade bed. Messy, chaotic, and overwhelming. But here's the beauty. Every unmade bed has the potential to be remade. In Season 20, we're sharing powerful stories of people who faced their life's chaos head-on and found the courage to rebuild, turning their messes into masterpieces. Just like starting your day with a simple act of making your bed, these stories remind us that small steps can lead to extraordinary transformations. So put on your shoes and take the first step toward remaking your own life. You're about to be inspired, challenged, and encouraged in ways you never expected. This is Other People's Shoes, Season 20. Unmade. And now, here's your host, Neil Matthews.
The great voice, Jessica Lewis, welcoming us in today. Thank you so much, Jessica. Listen, if you're looking for a voice, I think they're called voice actress. She's your gal. She's been our gal for a while now as far as our voice work, and we absolutely love her work. That's why we keep using her. Speaking of using things today, I was thinking about this as I sat in the Shoe Shack studios. Okay, so think about this for a second. You're getting up, you're traveling, you got the bags packed, taxi's waiting outside your door. I hate to see you go, but I have to go. We're leaving on a jet plane today. What's the last thing you do before you leave home? Okay, think about that for a second. All right, we got it. Locked in. All right, hit the screen above. I'm just kidding. There's no screen to hit, but that's what it feels like we do all the time. Somewhere in the journey of getting ready, where did making your bed fall on the list? Every time we travel, every single time. My wife and I have traveled in the last 20 some odd years together. Okay, I know the number. She always makes our bed. And I always find that so fascinating. You know what's crazy is when we get home from said journey. I really love, and I'm not you guys know this, that know me personally, I'm kind of pigpen in real life, messy, cluttery, whatever. I love seeing the made bed. I love seeing things that are order and structure and things like that. Do not tell her that I love those things. Just keep it between us right now, okay? Just do it. Help me welcome in my new friend, Kaitlyn, all the way from across the pond. Kaitlyn, how are you today?
I am so well, thank you. How are you?
I see the books behind you. I see everything orally, structure. You were one of those kids when you got the crayon box out, you colored inside the lines. You're like, there's no scribbling on this paper, teacher.
I did try to. Got there eventually.
Is structure required to be in Kaitlyn's life?
Some structure, yes. I innovate and create more when there's structure. If there's no structure, there is just chaos. Chaos around me, chaos in my mind.
Now, I've heard it said ladies have like 87 tabs open at any given time. Do you think that's true?
Yes, 1,010%. We need less chaos around us so we can think more simplistic. Otherwise, those tabs just become more and more and more.
I actually used to work in a cell phone store, and I would say right now in this moment, this is an awkward moment. This older gentleman came in one day and he said, hey, my phone's not working. Can you make it work again? And I said, sure. And I was in training, so I wasn't behind the counter yet. So my goal and job was to help people before they got to the counter. So then when they got to the counter, it was a faster process. So I look at his phone. By the way, it's an Android phone, so I'm going to throw some Android hate right now. I have an iPhone. I've had an iPhone forever, probably since iPhone 3GS. Okay, that's how long it's been. So I just quoted how long I've had an iPhone. So I look at his phone. I'm like, this is an Android. I'm not real familiar with it. I'm thinking this in my head, of course not saying. And I look at his phone, and I kid you not, he had over 200 tabs open of, you can probably guess what it was. Mm-hmm. Pornography. I'll just say it. You didn't guess it.
I'm in a similar situation of
That's crazy, right? I'm like, well, no wonder it's not working. He's like, they just send me messages and I jump on their site. I'm like, that's not how that works, buddy.
No wonder your phone's just like, just let me die. Just let me die.
Well, you had screen burn too, which happens on a lot of Androids because you have your screen on too long. And some of the images were burned. I'm like, buddy, it's time to burn this phone. It's time to reset. Maybe that's a weird, awkward segue to say, maybe today you can help us get some structure and some less chaos and close some tabs in our head. I don't know. That's a lot of pressure to put on you. So maybe less pressure to answer is this: what style of shoe might we find you in a pub or a tea house, if they have those in London, England area? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we've got the tea houses here. We've got everything here. You will find me in a pub, literally in the shoes of sneakers. Yeah, that's my happy place.
So I hit right by saying pub. See, look at that. Didn't even know that. That's fun. All right. Well, you say sneakers. I think I said it correctly. Sneakers. What sneakers? Is there a brand name or a style, or help me visually understand the sneakers?
I'm looking at my sneakers now. I've got Nike sneakers on, but I also like the Adidas ones as well.
Say that again.
Because you say Adidas and it's Adidas.
Help me with something, because I'm going to make him listen to this part only. I need you to say Rory. They're actually pronounced, and then you say the word, okay? Try that for me, would you please? This is so important to me. This is a dream come true. All right, say it again.
Rory, they are actually pronounced Adidas.
Not Adia, not Adidas.
No, it's Adidas.
Adidas. My daughter's name is Adia, and friends make fun of me because when I was younger, all I wore was Adidas, or as you're saying, I can't even say it.
You can't even say it.
I can't. I'm not even going to try. Yeah. See, that's twice. I'm out. One more, I'm struck out. I'm sitting on the bench crying like a baby. My point is that people think my daughter is named or a form of Adidas because it's Adia. That's a little bit how you spell it. Adidas. See, I still messed it up. Yeah. All right, Kaitlyn, we're moving on. Well, help us with this. I really, truly do love all of my seasons. I love all of my series. I love them all. They all have their own unique place in my heart. Like a musical artist, you ask them what their favorite album is. That's a horrible question to ask an artist or a creative person. First off, they won't be able to tell you because they're all equally as important. One of my favorite Christian artists of all time, he is a Christian artist. His name is Toby Mac. They asked him what his favorite album was, and he stumbled and he said, I don't have a favorite album. I like them all. And the interviewer pressed, and they said, well, there's got to be one. And he said, no, they're all my children. How do I decide which child is my favorite? And I really took that on because it means the same thing to me. So anyway, not about me in this moment. I really do. And maybe it's Jessica. Jessica made my vision come alive of this unmade bed, this idea of clutter and chaos and a mess. And a bed is just an analogy. I've heard some people say, why do you keep talking about beds? That's weird. I'm like, well, there's two great things we should buy in this life. A great pair of shoes, which is about me and how much I love shoes, but also a great bed. So anyway, I ask all that to say, when we approached you about this unmade bed idea or this unmade life, what came to mind for Kaitlyn all the way across the pond?
For me, what came across was I love the authenticity and rawness of the seasons of our lives. And when you just make your bed in the morning, whatever the day is going to be about, you're setting yourself up to have a good sleep that night. It's the first thing you wake up in is your bed. Then you get out, then you make it, then you go about your day. And there's that smallest amount of structure, even if you have chaos throughout the day, that can help kind of give you that little bit of promise for later on that you have to do one less thing.
The to-do list, it seems like, in this life, in this world, seems to be ever growing. It seems to be almost as if the horizon is our to-do list. We see it, we're like, sometimes it's pretty. We're like, wow, that's so pretty. Look at all the things I get to do. I don't have to do. I get to do. Mindset shift. Is that what you're talking about? Or help me maybe understand that a little better.
I think for me, I used to never make my bed. So if we're talking about the analogy of bed making, I used to never make my bed. And it actually followed on throughout my day. So to me, when I make my bed now, it's about me choosing me. It's about me doing one small kind act for myself by making the bed. I don't believe in really long to-do lists, but I do believe in joyful lists. It's become a joy for me to make the bed now, where I used to absolutely hate it, never want to do it. Now it's more joyful. So I start my day doing something joyful.
Help me understand your life. Has it been filled with this kind of unmade, this chaos, this messiness, as I call it, pigpen of life. Maybe you weren't as the clutter bug as I am, or the horror of all things light blue, which my friends mock me again. I'm really making fun of my friends today, so I hope they hear this. I'm not going to put anybody on blast or throw some shade on them, but I'm just going to make it a general statement. When I think about my life and I think about the things that have brought that chaos and brought that mess, seem as if there is somebody that comes in along the way that helps me remember, no, it can be remade. It can be a masterpiece again. Yeah, you got some color outside of the lines. Try again. Let's try again.
So I think a time in my life when I thought I was doing everything I should have been doing. Everyone says work the 9 to 5, get the house, get the dog. I didn't have a fence, but I had the car, everything. And I was like, cool, I'm in this analogy, I'm making my bed, I'm living my life. It was horrible. I was miserable. I was absolutely miserable. I was only doing the external things to try and feel better internally. It was a complete lie. It didn't bring me the happiness or the joy. So my life turned into completely upside down because everything I thought I should do, I didn't desire or bring enjoyment anymore. And that's when I completely changed everything in my life, moved countries, put my life on my back and went, right, let's figure out how to remake our life, remake our bed, moment by moment. We're rewriting our own story now. We're not reliant on other people and what their expectation is because I did that, didn't work. So how do we now remake our own life in a way that works for us?
Well, rumor has it you're a mom. Did research do their job well?
Research did their job well. I am a mum to a 4-year-old.
To a 4-year-old. Now, I've heard this said because I'm not a mom, but I am a dad. So I get like a half point, not a full point, because moms get the full point. Dads get like the half point. When you became a mom, did that add more structure or did that add more chaos, clutter, unmade messiness?
Oh my God. So before we found out we were pregnant with Elfie, we didn't have a house. We didn't have a country. We only had a backpack for a home. So our life was very simple. We scooted on the island that we lived in, and it was very lovely. Then we had to buy things. He was 4 months in my belly before I realized. And then he came along and, babies need things. They need a lot. They need a home. They need a country. He did bring chaos. And because I am the mother, my brain changed. My brain changed completely. And I literally remember saying to the doctor, what the hell has happened to my brain? I don't remember certain things and I remember other things and everything feels like it's danger. And they said the worry part of your brain has quadrupled to keep your child safe. Your brain's going to change. And it did. Everything for me was chaos at that stage. So all I could do was focus on the simplicity of life because everything felt so overwhelming. And I went from doing to-do lists to just being a mother, which was hard. It's hard to go from doing to being, feeding the child, looking after the child. And so it was a very rewriting of all limiting beliefs. And there was so much chaos in my head. Through the process, I allowed myself to kind of structure and streamline it and just left room for the chaos and the messiness of life. It's always going to have elements of messiness. It's kind of fun now that I'm 4 years in. At the start, it was really hard.
I'm just intrigued by some of the statements you made. One of the things I'm intrigued by is here in the States, we might call that homelessness, what you described as having no home and a backpack.
Yes.
And maybe there's an RV. I mean, I hope so. No?
No RV. No, we were digital nomad.
A statement again, digital nomad. I don't know what that is.
Means you have no location. You live around the world on your laptop. So we traveled Southeast Asia for a year and we landed in Australia to then go on to Nicaragua and Costa Rica to travel for another year. And that's when we found out we were 4 months pregnant.
Was that a surprise to find out you were pregnant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was told I'd never have children, so it was a big surprise.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
So your little guy, I'm going to say it, I believe this with every child, is truly a miracle.
I always say to him, thank you so much for being my son. And he's always like, you're welcome, Mummy. I didn't realize that I was looking for that heart peace in life. And I think this goes hand in hand with the chaos and the unmadeness of life. But when you have your heart open that much, there's such a sense of vulnerability. And he opened my heart so much and allowed me to believe in things I'd never believed before at a level of vulnerability and acceptance. I was told I would really struggle if I ever did have children. I would really struggle. He was just a beautiful little little addition to the timeline of my life.
I met a gal. She's in North Carolina now, and her name's Kim Patton. She's not able to have kids. Her and her husband had to adopt. And all she's ever wanted was to be a mom.
Yeah.
I mean, ever since she was a little girl growing up, that's all she ever wanted. And for whatever reason, again, there's weird reasons. There's all kinds of reasons, health reasons. She can't actually naturally give birth to a child. When I came across her and I met her, man, that just hurt my world and that hurt my heart. My wife and I mean, we waited 6 years for my daughter.
Really?
I really thought we were never going to have a kid. In fact, this is a horrible story, but we were painting a room in my old house in preparation for what this would one day become. This was the inspiration from that room where I'm at now, the shoe shack. My friend, I call her my sister really because we've been friends since middle school. So now she's not friend. She's now jumped into the sister category. It's a category. It's a thing. It's a States thing probably. It's not a UK thing. But anyway, we started stenciling in North Carolina logos because you might guess I love the University of North Carolina. I mean, maybe you're getting that vibe. I don't know. It's probably, maybe again, not coming across. It's a long connection across the pond. In that, my wife comes home and says, what are you going to do if we get pregnant and we have a baby? And I looked at her and I said, come on, we both know that's not gonna happen. And the next morning she pulls me out of the shower, quite literally, tells me to look at the windowsill in the bathroom, and there's like 87 pregnancy tests. 87 is my favorite number. When I don't know the number, I just make up 87. It's just easier. There wasn't 87. There was probably like 13 or 12. There was a lot. All I know is the windowsill was completely full. There was a lot. And she's like, look at this one. And she's like waving it in my face. Do you see a plus sign? And I'm like, well, it's kind of faded. I can't really. She's like, I had to pee on a lot of them.
Oh.
It was in that moment I thought, much like you maybe, my world is now going to be different. And I didn't want to believe it. Were you that way when you guys found out? Was that you? Am I alone in that canoe paddling by myself? Or are you like shotgun in the canoe paddling the wrong direction? I'm just kidding. You'd probably paddle the right direction. I mean, am I alone in that? Or tell me about that. When that experience finally happened for you. Again, all these naysayers saying, no, 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 no. And then bam, they're like, what?
You gave me goosebumps, and I love that. And I love that you've got your daughter. And there's just something magical about it, isn't there? Like I think
I'll send her to you, by the way, because she's 17 going on 27. So if you want, you can have an au pair or a nanny. She can be on the way tomorrow. She has a passport.
She has a passport. See, it's interesting because for me, my story, very early on, I was told very unlikely that I'd have children. So I never allowed myself to dream on that story. I never created that life for myself. It was nothing I'd ever thought was going to be my life. So I just went about the other things I thought would make me happy. And when it came to, I think there was a bit of ignorance before we had Alfie because we had to, get stuff sorted really quickly and we were in action mode. But I think when I finally realized I'm a mum, like that night I gave birth to him, I was like so scared. I was like, I don't know how to be a mum. I don't know how to do this. I can't, like, this is, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And I was sleeping and he was in the cot next to me sleeping and he made a noise in the middle of the night and I was like dead asleep, like I was out of it. And then I jolted up, I grabbed his crib and I go, it's okay, mummy's here. And then I went back to sleep and I was like, there's an instinct in me. There's something in me that can do this. I don't know where she is, but she can do this. And I think through that trust of, even if you consciously don't know, like there's a part of you that knows how to do this. The chaos in the world of parenthood, I've realized you can't have the joy, the gratitude, the love without the sadness, without the tiredness, without the frustration. And it's expanded my emotional range of what I can tolerate all at once. I don't ever feel like it's just one or the other. It's all of it. But you're there for all of it. They're your child and you're their parent, and you get to parent your younger version of yourself through your child, and you get to create the next generation. So from a past, present and future standpoint, it's a really beautiful gift for yourself. And I wanted to say on your friend who wasn't ever able to be a mother, some way, somehow, she will be such a mother figure to somebody that it means so much to them, that it's changing their life. And she may not even know that. And I know it's hard if you can't bear your own child, that she'll be making a huge difference in somebody else's life just by being herself.
Well, they've since adopted 2 wonderful, beautiful little girls. And I love following her on Instagram for that reason. She just really stays on my heart in conversations like this. I think parenting is so incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
And I don't think when we were kids, we knew how difficult our parents had it. And now when we become that parent, our shifts and our perspective gets changed. I mean, I was a little kid. I remember very, very foggy, but kind of sort of vividly. My dad had these silver cowboy boots. And it's weird because to this day, I've never seen my dad wear cowboy boots. He's a Marine. Marines don't wear cowboy boots. That's weird. I remember putting them on and kind of clopping and walking around like clown feet because my dad wears like a 12 or a 13, and I'm a little kid, and they went up like halfway up my knee, and I remember kind of clomping around in them, and I just remember thinking, man, these are some big shoes to fill. I do remember that moment thinking, is my foot ever going to fill these shoes? And to take that metaphor on, I know this is true of a lot of moms. It's true of you, maybe it's not. So if this shoes don't fit, we can move along. I have a sneaking suspicion it's true. Do you get into the comparison game? Do you get into that? You look at other moms, you look at other people, you look at maybe the moms on TV. You guys have UK TV. It's probably not as good as States TV. My point is do you look around the world you're in and you start comparing yourself to Susie or to Molly or to Jenny or to whoever, and you're like, I'm not doing it that way. Oh, I suck.
I definitely used to at the start. It's not my reality anymore, but at the start, when I didn't know what to do, you measure your child on a benchmark of what's the average across. And then if they're not to there, oh my God, what have I done wrong? And it's this whole perpetuating blame of I'm the one feeding the child. If they're not growing, it's my fault. And it just yields just comparison analysis and paralysis. And so after about 6 months, I was like, I'm not doing it anymore. What if I changed it? Instead of going, I'm not doing it like her, I celebrated her doing it her way. So I switched the narrative in my mind. And so now when I see a woman wearing something beautiful and holding children with her hair done and everything, I'm like, oh, go you. Maybe I could do something like that, because well done on you. So I've definitely changed the narrative, because for me to compare, it stuck me in the box of this is the way society expects us to be when it comes to parenthood. And the thing is, we are expanding so much, we are evolving so much, and we want to. So if you box yourself in, you're boxing in your emotions, you're boxing in the narrative, the thought, the conversation with your child. If you just allow yourself to be inspired by other people and how they're living their own lives and go, maybe we could try that out, and then try it out and see if you like it. I felt a lot more peace internally when I did that, as opposed to the absolute depression I went through, just being like, I'm not doing it right.
As a dad, we get off easy. I feel like a lot of times we're not the one putting our body on the line initially for our kids. Women have that ability. I don't care what people say in this society. Women have children, men do not have children. Okay, so we're settled that. For me, again, when I look and I think about what my wife had to go through to birth our child, to feed our child, to do all the things, now 17 years later, my wife is just as pretty as she was back then, if not prettier. And I love that she got to be a mom. I love that I got to play a part in helping that be accomplished. And I hope that she doesn't play the comparison game, because like you're saying, it puts her in a box. Someone is right now, perhaps, hearing you and they're like, oh, Kaitlyn, so sweet you're here. Your accent sounds like Emma Bunting from the Spice Girls. You're making me think of the Spice Girls. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Let's hope so, right?
Yeah.
If someone's hearing you and they're like, man, that's good for her. That's so good, but not good for me. So I was trying to be like Valley Girl, like snooty, What would you say to them?
I would say to them what I said to myself the moment I decided to change. If I had a daughter, how would I want her to feel? How would I want her to compare herself to others? And then I was like, right. If I want her to look at other women and lift them up instead of bring them down, that means I need to start doing that, which means I need to change the conversations in my head. So instead of me going, oh, look at her, she's so good, and then not spitting hate, being frustrated and annoyed, I mean, like, I should do that. It's instead going, hells yes, celebrating you, well done on that. Maybe I can try that. And it's not any of this fakeness. Like at the start, I was so used to comparing myself to everybody else to then shift it. But I just kept going, if I had a daughter right now, how would I want her to respond? And it just started with that conversation in my head.
I mean, maybe this is a stereotype. Women deal with that on a whole deeper level than I think most guys do. I haven't met a woman yet who hasn't had, on some level, body image issues. I just haven't come across one yet. So when I do, let me tell you, I will have the greatest show ever. I don't think she's out there.
No. And she's not out there. Women are deep. Women literally birth children. We are deep in terms of our emotions. We are deep in terms of what our body can do. And we're asked time and time again. And this is where the getting yourself out of the box will help. You try and put yourself into the box of what beauty is. Then you're pregnant. So you change. You look different. You feel different. And then the box has changed. So then you try and find a different box, and then it changes again. And then you give birth, and then you breastfeed, and things change, and you're ever evolving and changing. I literally had this conversation with my twin sister this morning, and she's pregnant. She's 6 months pregnant. She's going through body image issues. I'm going through body image issues. We're both feeling the same, but for very different situations. And being able to just go, cool, what's actually under the surface? What is it I'm feeling here? I'm finding it hard to accept and love myself as how I look right now. Okay, well, what do I need to do to just help accept myself just a little bit more? We've been told by society that you're only accepted and lovable if you're, well, for me, it was the Paris Hilton of the skinny and the tall. And I am 5'2", so that was never going to happen for me. So I had to rewrite my own narrative because I didn't fit in the box that society said you were beautiful if you looked like this. So I created my own.
I think the most scariest thing in life has been for me when someone hands me a blank piece of paper, or maybe it's a blank notebook paper, and they put the pressure on me to create something. And then undoubtedly I've been in workshops or leadership stuff or just trainings, and I look around the room and everybody's vigorously writing and creating and drawing and all these things. And I am no Bob Ross. I am no Pablo Picasso. I can't draw to save my life. And then the flip side of that, if I was going to flip the piece of paper over and it's the notebook writing, the journal blank page, I think I'm a pretty good writer. And then I start and I'm like, how do you spell because? Let's see. How's that go again? And I get bogged down because I can't spell to save my life. So I'm stuck in that moment of trying to create something. I can't draw. I can't write. So what do? I stay there and I look around the room and I have kind of room envy. Look over and Johnny's got, the color crayons out, and he's got the most amazing mouse picture ever. I don't know why I picked a mouse. And then I look over at Catherine, not Kaitlyn, just to be clear, but I look over at Catherine, and Catherine's got the world's best short story on that piece of paper. And I'm like, I can't. I think that's what happens to us in life. I feel like we're in this room and everyone's doing all this amazing stuff. We jump online, we see these people doing all this amazing stuff, and we start playing the game of, well, if I had, if I could, if I would, I should. What I'm hearing you say is you got to flip that conversation. Acknowledge it. Give them their props. Give them their great job, golf clap maybe even. But how did you get to the point where you were finally saying, okay, enough's enough. Now it's time for me to do my own thing?
When I was 26 was literally the time that I decided that I have to do my own thing, because I did what everybody else told me to do. And I got to the height of my career that I could get to. I bought the house, got the dog, did everything. I got the external validation based off what everybody else said. And I was like, cool, I'll do this and it will get me this. And I got that and it got me depression. And I was like, this does not work. So then I was like, well, if they're telling me to do this and it's creating depression, I got to create something better for myself, surely. And then I went, well, what the hell do I want to do? And then I just started creating my life moment by moment and deciding what I wanted. But the thing is, it's not, people are like, I'm going to change and I'm going to be changed forever. You change your life and you change the conversations in your head in a moment in time. Our life is made up of moments of time. In those moments, you always have a choice. Do you choose to have a different conversation, or do you choose to have the same conversation? If you choose to have the same conversation, your life will fundamentally be the same as it was yesterday and the day before. So your future will be the same as it is now. But if you want something different, if you want to be able to sit down and write a page and not look at other people and not care about what other people think and get in the zone and fully focus in on yourself, that comes from those moments of choosing to feel uncomfortable because you're doing something new and going, just write the word because. Doesn't matter if you spell it wrong, just write the word because. And then the next thing will flow, then the next thing will flow. And it's through that you build the confidence to trust yourself more than trusting others. because they've been able, or some people can, some people can't, to lead the life that they want to lead, the way they want to lead it. But the thing is, sometimes you're looking at somebody else leading somebody else's life because they thought it looked better than theirs, and they're leading somebody else's life. So everyone's trying to get to a very different destination. And until you know where it is you're trying to get to, you're already there. So if you don't define where you're trying to go, you will never be able to get there.
There was a guy a couple of weeks back, and he was telling me about how you have to have a compass in life, but sometimes our compass is broken, and therefore it's been giving us wrong directions. Is that accurate of you?
Very much so. When I took a career break when I was 26 and I moved to London, I had no compass. So I just actually ended up repeating the same patterns in the UK as I had in Australia, which created the same emotions. And I wanted to move from those emotions. I didn't know how to do that. And because I didn't know what I wanted from my life, I just knew I didn't want to be depressed anymore. So then I started writing out just to get out of the depressed state, because it's really hard to create when you're depressed. It's really hard, especially when you're in such a stress response. The creative part of your brain doesn't want to be activated. So what I did with the compass is sometimes you have seasons in life, meaning you don't have a compass, and that's the point. Because you need to live the messiness of it and figure out who you are amongst it. The resilience, you need to build the strength. My compass was never to have a child. My compass was to travel and build this business and have fun. And then all of a sudden, I had no compass and I had a child and I had to figure it all out. But I built a lot of resilience in that. And you cultivate what you want to feel. Then as you start to feel better with yourself, then you can actually envision something a little bit better for your life. That's your compass. And then it will evolve, it will change, it will grow. But the thing is with that is you are always there. It starts and ends with you. You get to decide where you want to move. You get to decide what your compass is. You get to decide if you're going to stand up or if you're going to sit back down. You get to decide if you're going to ride or if you're not. The choices you make in these moments of who you want to be in your life, and it's who you want to be which will define what you get. If you want to continue to be somebody else, you're never going to fully be happy because you're not actually willing to be who it is you're meant to be, because there's 8 billion people in this world, but there's only one you. So from a compass, you are your compass. Figure out who you are, and then you'll know where you're trying to go.
When I was growing up, there was a girl that lived across the street from me. Her name is Catherine. I do remember that. I actually remember her last name because it was very unique, but I won't say it because I don't know where she is now. So we'll just, for privacy's sake, we won't say that. But I do remember her name. Her mom drove a Volvo, which I thought was always kind of fun because it was fancy and it had fancy things, mid-'80s. But I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. But Catherine was a really good friend of mine. Again, she lived right across the street, so my mom was cool with me from both ways, and then I could cross the street, and it was a thing. Now, Catherine and I would play imagination. And we would come up with different names. My name was always Patrick for some reason. I still to this day don't know why I picked that one. Friend showed me SpongeBob, and he has a friend named Patrick, and he's kind of a dork. And I'm like, well, maybe that's not that cool of a name after all. But Catherine and I would play imagination, and we would imagine we were in different things, like outer space one time we were cowboys, one time we were police officers, just all kinds of stuff. And in that, I think back to those moments as a child of how creative we were. And I love what you said there. When you're so depressed, you can't be creative. You can't. So not only can you not be creative, but I wonder sometimes, can you even be productive, which is a form of creation? Can you find ways to still walk through life? But I've heard when people are really in the midst and the rain and the storm and the darkness of depression, it gets real scary and really hard. I mean, really hard. And I've even heard people say through the show, listen, Neil, I was on the edge ready to jump. I was on the edge ready to pull that trigger. I hope that's not true of you. Why is it people don't want to talk about it? Feeling of people saying, listen, I was dealing with it, but nobody knew. It was a secret that I kept.
So I've definitely been on the verge a couple of times. And I think I question it now and wonder how it gets so bad so quick sometimes. And for me, I had it so genetically, my family have depression. So it is something that is in my DNA. I had it when I was quite young. And so there was a pattern. And I love patterns. I love life, like patterns in life. And I realized my pattern of when I got spiraled into depression was being self-deprecating in the instance of I've hurt somebody else by saying no. So I'll put up a boundary, for example, because I'm a recovering people pleaser. So I would say no to somebody, and then they would have a go and go, no, we can't do that, blah, blah, blah. And then I would spiral into what a horrible person I am because of their reaction. And that was my pattern at childhood. The thing is, our patterns grow as we do. If I had that foundation of pattern where I became depressed after something small in my life, then as I get bigger and I get older, I'm used to the same pattern of depression. So it just continues and continues and continues. When you become a mother, you are at your utmost vulnerable. All you have in those moments is yourself, sore and proud and excited and scared and vulnerable and open. And this child is looking after you, and your emotions are so heightened more than they ever have. So my depression met me so quickly when I became a mother that I was like, how am I going to do this? What do I do? Like, I have a child to look after. I don't even know if I can look after myself. I read all the books I possibly could on this. Honestly, what I did, because I couldn't stop the chatter in my head, but I could re-divert my attention. I did the box breathing, and the box breathing is what switches your cortisol into your parasympathetic nervous system. So you actually switch from the stress response to the calm response, because I'd realized my body was really used to just being really overly stressed. And then I was thinking in the chaotic mindset. So I box breathed. I just breathed in 4 times, held for 4, breathed out for 4, held for 4. And I did that every day on repeat, over and over and over and over and over again, as my baby cried, as I was like, how do I feed him? What do I do? Oh my God, I don't know how to do this. Until eventually the depression felt a little bit easier. My mind started to process things a little bit easier. And I started to move forward and see a bit more light, because I was teaching my body to process the emotions that I wasn't able to process before, and to calm my nervous system so it wasn't always on the fight or flight, and I could actually breathe, because I was allowing my nervous system to breathe. And that's my go-to now. Whenever I sense the spiral, I breathe that box breathing. And I also got therapy. I also had therapy to help. But I think there's a lot of shame why people don't reach out. A lot of shame, and shame creates quietness. It's like when we were growing up, our parents would say to us, don't do that. You shouldn't do that. Don't talk. And they'd berate you for saying something or doing something, put you in the shame, time out for shame. So we've learned that shame means rejection. So we reject ourselves, and we don't talk about it because that's what we've learned. But we have the choice now to relearn something new. But also, everyone's depression's different. Like, I want to honor that. Like, everyone's journey is different. And for me, that worked. Speaking to a therapist and just literally calming my nervous system in each moment.
Thank you for sharing that and your willingness. When you were talking about that, the shame of timeout, the shame of being berated, we had a series that we did, they're fun. It was called Take Flight, and the idea of it was, you've been grounded for so long, now it's time for you to fly. What has helped you fly? I had a lot of airplane metaphors. In fact, I even had a gal voice our intro. Actually, she's from Great Britain or UK, and everybody thinks she's Australian. Oh, you're an Australian. She's like, no, I'm from Great Britain. So it's like the opposite again for you. But anyway, her name's Allie Murphy. She's fantastic. When you were talking about time out and when you were talking about being berated, it made me think about when I was a little kid. Time out was like my room almost. I mean, I was in it so much. Should have put up, pictures and other things, because I was in the timeout spot so much. I was in timeout so much I even fell asleep in timeout once. Of course, I can fall asleep anywhere. Probably should look into that. In that, I'm wondering right now if there is a lady that says, listen, I've been in the timeout chair. People have forgotten about me. Mm-hmm. I'm not seen. I'm not heard. My husband doesn't seem to see me. My children definitely don't. They just want, and not love. And again, maybe she wants to look over her shoulder and say, what's life look like? Because when I was in timeout, I had to face the wall, face the corner. You couldn't look out. It was one of those things. So the mom or the wife, the woman, is trying to look over her shoulder at the life that is going on outside of the timeout chair behind her. She can't bear to look because maybe for some reason, again, she's berated herself. She's put herself in that timeout. And now, how does she get out of it in your mind? How did you get out of it?
I want to preface with what happens. Our internal world dictates our external world. So external world is chaos, panic. Our internal world is chaos and panic. It's the self-responsibility. This was so hard. I remember accepting this and ugly crying my heart out. I always wanted to ugly cry, but in a cute way. This wasn't a cute way. This was like a
Hallmark movie, ugly cry.
No, my God. You know, that it wasn't that. It was horrible. There was snot, there was tears, it was just chaos on my face, but it felt so good after. For the woman who's like, how the hell do I do this? I would say
it might be the other word too, but we kind of get what you're saying.
I would say it starts with you. Your kids aren't going to save you. Your partner's going to save you, but you can save you. And what you need to do first and foremost, start looking at yourself. So I would ask her to look at herself in the mirror for just 2 minutes a day. Because how often do you look at yourself in the mirror without talking about all the things that are wrong with you? The point is just to see yourself. And then as you're going, oh, but this isn't right, just go, oh, no, it's okay. Just focus on one thing you like about you. Because I know it can be so heavy and so hard, especially when everything in you is you're like, I can't do this. I'm not enough. All of this is horrible. I shouldn't look like this. Just focus on one thing you like about you. Just one thing. It could be an eyebrow. I really like my left eyebrow because it goes up, but my right one doesn't. So I just focus on my left eyebrow and just stare at it for 2 minutes. Keep focusing on that one thing. Because what you're doing is you're training yourself to look at yourself without putting hate on yourself. And what happens is when you can see yourself for those 2 minutes, you're holding space for yourself for 2 minutes. When you hold space for yourself, you can process emotions. That chaos starts to break because those tabs start to close, because you're changing the narrative, you're changing the program. And eventually the 2 minutes might be 3, might be 4, might be 5. And eventually you might go, I actually really do like my hair today, or I really like this. And then when you start noticing in you, you'll start noticing it in other people. But just for one day, just look in the mirror for 2 minutes. It will change your life.
120 seconds, right?
Yeah, 120 seconds. Or you go. Just do it. It will change your life.
But I love the 2 minute idea, because let me be candid here. A lot of things can get done in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Beds can get made. You can brush your teeth. You can brush your hair. You can tie your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hope you can tie your shoes in 2 minutes. I mean, I've never tied myself, but that seems plausible. Yeah. All right. Well, Kaitlyn, thank you so much for what you gave today. I really appreciate it. If people want to know more about you and just your journey and maybe have questions for you outside of maybe something we didn't get to, or something is sparked in someone and they're like, why didn't Neil ask? I don't know. And they want to ask more and they want to know more. What's the best way that they can reach you? And what social media of choice do you love to hang out on maybe the most?
So my social media of choice is Instagram and YouTube. So Instagram is KaitlynCook.co and my YouTube is Grow with Kaitlyn. Kaitlyn with a K.
Kaitlyn with the K from the UK. You could use that.
Thank you so much.
You could use that. I just came up with that. I don't expect royalties or trademarks. It's fine. You can be okay from Kaitlyn with the UK. I mean, we could keep going. It's just, I'm just ripping or rapping or whatever. I don't know. I'm always curious about this. How many of these type of podcast shows have you been a part of in your journey and sharing your story? And I know you do some business stuff too. So all of it combined.
I've probably been on 17 podcasts.
I mean, that's not like 300 and something like I've been on, but I mean, it's fine.
No, I know. No, it's not. But I have to say, I have laughed the most on this one.
Oh,
I know. I don't have a favorite because they're all my children.
Stop it. They are not all your... You can't use my line. That is so my line. All right. Well, I bet most shows haven't let you play a game at the end of the show.
No.
Well, we're going to play a game together right now. Zach, take it away.
It's now that time in the show to play the fastest growing game in the podcast world. We call it Heel Hustle. Today, our guest will try to answer all 6 of these questions in 60 seconds or less to win an Amazon gift card. Amazon not responsible for this commercial spot, nor did they pay to let us use their name. Audience, feel free to play at home. Are you ready? Let's put 60 seconds on that clock. Ready, set, hustle!
All right, Kaitlyn, 60 seconds. 3, one person you would trade places with for a week. That's weird. I bet you did a lot of that. Anyway, guilty pleasure. What is it? Meditating. All right. What is the best compliment you've ever received? What is the worst piece of advice now that you've ever received?
That's Beyonce. Oh, that's perfect piece of advice. Buy a house, get a car.
What is something you wish you were better at?
And then you'll be happy.
Disagree. What is something that never fails to make you laugh? Hurry! Did you say me?
You!
Oh. That's so fun. Well, game over. Great job. Great job. You got them all in. Great job. Golf clap. I'd like a golf clap. I'll work on that. Research, get on that. We need the golf clap for after Heel Hustle. That's for you, Neil, for the notes later. Well, I didn't even prep you. You were just ready to go, and I love it.
So you're going to ask me American questions, and I was like, pass.
The guy that plays football for Taylor Swift's football team? Yeah, that guy. Travis Kelce, by the way, would be the right answer to that question. Yeah, you're welcome. Number 87, Travis Kelce. Well, Kaitlyn, thank you truly so much for what you gave today. Really appreciate all that you shared. I really love your excitement, and your smile has come all the way across the pond. So thanks so much for what you gave today. Really appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you too. This was really fun.
All right, guys and gals, kids and campers alike, that is it. That is all. That is, in fact, I know, sad faces, our show today. You know, Kaitlyn got me thinking, though. Stinking thinking. I don't like it when a guest does this. So if you're a future guest, pay attention. Okay, I'm lying. I'm totally lying. I love it when a guest does this. It's like my favorite thing. When a guest says something and I'm like, I don't do that. Is this you in this moment? Am I alone again? My canoe paddling by myself. Am I alone? Do you look in the mirror truly and take that 2 minutes to say, I like that about me. I think I do that really well. Or I look good in this hoodie. Yes, I do. Or when you look in the mirror, it's not that. It's 2 minutes of the berating. It's the 2 minutes of, well, Susie has that and I don't look like that. And it's this or it's that, or we don't do that enough. I don't do that enough. So that's my challenge for you this week. If you choose to accept it, mission impossible, because it feels like an impossible mission, maybe perhaps for you to do that. But try it. Just let me know. Let me know. If you do it, I really want to know. 2 minutes of not berating, of really enjoying what you are and who you are. But you have to do it in the mirror. That's the requirement. Let me know. OPSpodcast.com is a great place to let me know. You can let me know on the socials at OPS Podcast Show under Facebook, Instagram, and X. And don't forget this when we go. Please, oh please, do not forget. Remember, when you walk in other people's shoes, you really do get a different perspective on life. Thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned till next week when we walk in other people's shoes.